Hi and welcome to Miss Daisy Pattern's online tutorials. Today we are going to be taking a look at making one of these toadstools. They're made out of air dry clay and they can be made in a variety of sizes. So this is what they look like. This is what we're going to be taking a look at making. Now to make these, what you will need is you'll need some air dried clay. Okay, air dried clay. You'll need a mark making tool for the air dried clay. You're also going to need some red gouache paint and some white gouache paint. So some red and some white paint. Really just poster paint is what you're looking for. And after the poster paint, what you're also going to need is some nail polish, just clear nail polish, the type that you might put over a French manicure. So it's just clear nail polish. Right, now, so to start, what we're going to do is we're going to, the air dry clay, when you open it up, this one is Daz, and it's their grey colour, and as you can see, it dries almost white. Right, now, so this is what it looks like when you open it up. Now you take out two small sections. So first section will be for about that much. I'll show you. About so much. You can just grab it off the top. Okay. One biggish ball. Okay. So you see that sitting in the palm of my hand. So about that much. So you need that size, and then you need a second section, but a smaller one, okay? So, smaller ball, about that size, okay? So that's the two of them right next to each other. So there's your two. Now we're going to start with the top first. So what we do is we work the clay until it's nice and malleable. You're working the clay, and then you're going to roll it. Try to get it into as much of a ball shape as is possible. Okay. So, and it's nice and smooth. So there. See what it looks like? Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to place it down onto the chopping board like so and flatten it out. So you've placed it down, so you've made a disc. Right, great. Now once you've made that disc, what you want to do is you want to get your thumbs and push into the center, and with the other part of your hand you're pulling away from each other. This is to create the dome shape that's on the top of the mushroom. Now don't worry if it kind of cracks a bit. You can easily smooth that over, and if you can't, all you have to do is add a little bit of water on your fingers and that'll also smooth it off for you. Okay, and also don't try to be too perfect with it. Mushrooms in real life are very random in shape. Okay, so this is the dome shape that we're looking for. Okay, and what we do next is we take our marking tool and we're just going to apply it inside here. Again, random. They don't have to be too perfect. They're just to give that underside impression to the mushroom. Okay, right. Okay, so you leave that aside for the moment. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the actual stand to the mushroom. So again, moving the clay until it's nice and soft. And in this case now what you're going to do is you're going to roll it almost like a sausage. Rolling it like a sausage. Okay. Okay. About that thick. About that thick. Again, there's no given sizes with this, as long as you feel that it'll take the size of the mushroom top you've created. And what you do is when you push it onto the table, you push the base of it flat, creating a stand or a wider base, as you see here. Okay. And what you're going to do now is using a little bit of water on the top here to bind the top and the bottom together, using a little bit of water. Okay, you place the top of the mushroom onto the base. So this is what it looks like. Okay, right, now I'm going to leave this aside to dry. So those mushrooms take approximately overnight to dry. At least 24 hours is what you're aiming for, for it to be completely dry. If not a little bit more, depending on the size of the mushroom you actually make. Right, leaving that aside. Now, here is a mushroom that was made last night, so it's pretty much dry enough to be painted. So that's what it looks like, and it starts to take on a more white appearance. Now what you're going to do is you just need to paint the top of that. So I have put a little bit of the gouache paint into this bowl, small plastic bowl. And you just take up a little bit, and again this is very random, it doesn't need to be perfect, and you paint the top of the mushroom. It's actually good to do a batch of these together when you're doing them, because they can all dry at the same time, and then you can have a batch of them together. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Even on the edges, you'll find that they're quite, they don't need to be even. Okay, so that is essentially the top of that one painted. Okay, so I'm going to put the paint aside. So this is your first stage. Now, because it is a poster paint, you might need to leave it for maybe half an hour to dry. Just make sure it's well dry, because you're going to be putting white dots on top of this. Now, this is one that I completed earlier, so this is the one that needs to dry, this is the one that is dry. So I should leave that one there. And the next stage is to apply your dots. So again, using a smaller brush, one with a very small tip on it, you're just going to use some of the white gouache paint, poster paint, and you pick up pieces on the top of your brush, and all you do is you put some dots, okay, randomly as much as possible. Again, they don't have to be perfect, so random dots as you go around. So that's that one done. Now if there's any that don't completely look like circles, go back over and finish them off there, and using daubs of paint works really well. Okay, again, this is going to take approximately half an hour to dry, so leaving that aside, we're now ready for the final stage. And the final stage, our mushroom looks like this. So this is our mushroom. The final stage is to get your nail polish, clear nail polish, and you're going to put a coat all over the red and white, just on the top. Now, okay, you can see already how it's actually getting shinier. Right, so that's that one done. So you leave that aside. And now this one again is, I would leave it minimum half hour to dry. Okay, and what you'll end up with then is your finished mushroom, your finished toadstool. Okay, again you can make them in a variety of sizes, as in here. The only thing I'll need to add here is, because they're made separately, just in case when they're completely dried, some of the tops separate from some of the bases. Now they may or they may not. What you can do is just put a little bit of glue at the very top, put them back together again, and they will stay like that, as in this one. This one is much bigger, so when they separated up and dried, they separated, so I glued them back together again. Now hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for tuning in. If you happen to make any of the mushrooms, please do let us know. Log on to our website at www.missdaisypatterns.com, or you can follow us on our YouTube channel by subscribing to the button now. Thank you very much and happy crafting.